A very good evening. Welcome to Love Talk. I'm Clyde Williams, your host. And as usual, I have with me a team of really great people. We're going to be sharing some thoughts and ideas with you this evening in what I call an extension of a conversation that we started years ago. And that conversation is about us as a people, black folks. Let's be real here. We need to be concerned about what's happening with our lives. And so we together sort of coined a plan of action, if you will. So that plan is to reconstruct or construct, if you will, whichever you choose, black love, life, and relationships. And I think the proactive way to do this is to start with discussions. That way, we'll force you to think a little bit more about your ideas, your thoughts, as to how we can rebuild, reconstruct, or beginning the construction all over again of black love, life, and relationships. You must admit, we're having a challenge. And in a worldwide pandemic, this even forces more stress on our system, our economic system, our social systems, are all failing because we simply are overwhelmed. Now, the fact that we are facing this pandemic, the fact that we have problems in the community that are unresolved should give us pause. And this is why we're having this conversation, an open discussion as to how we can begin to wrestle with the challenges we face. As I shared with you in the first edition of the show, that we have built this show on 4 pillars. And those pillars, love of God, very, very important. Whoever you deem God to be, whoever you see your God as. Also, it's built on the second pillar, love of self. Do you care for yourself? And this evening, we're going to be exploring that part. Very important, the self. A well-known adage or philosophy is, thy man, know thyself. Very, very powerful statement. And the words of Socrates should really provoke us to think, do you know yourself? Well, we're going to be talking about that a little bit. The other pillar is love of family. And you notice the sequencing, love of God, love of self, love of family, and then love of community. It is on these 4 pillars that our entire argument is built. And, you know, a philosophy so simple and uncomplicated should be one that should resonate with everyone who is watching this program. You have your thoughts. Write them down for us, please, because we're going to find a way real soon where you can begin to communicate with us with your concerns, your questions, and your ideas. In the meantime, we want you to follow us on Instagram at Our World Media. On Instagram, Our World Media. Subscribe to our YouTube channel on Our World Media, the number 1. Our World Media 1. That's our YouTube channel, Our Media 1. Our World Media 1. With that, I will turn to my guests. We didn't expect Annette to join us again this week so early, but we sort of had a quick agreement that she would join in because she has some expertise and experience in an area that we're going to be getting into this evening. And that's, Annette is to my right, Bernard Adolphus, our resident numerologist, and Sage, I call him, and our professor in-house, Gail Lewis. Thank you all for being here again. The reason you are the foundation of this program is that we are trying to build a foundation. Exactly that. So let me sort of repeat myself. You are the foundation. And hopefully the people that you have been exposed to, the people that you have influenced, And in particular, Bernard, you've seen literally thousands of people over, and I want you to talk a little bit about that over the last several years. And Annette, because of Where It's At magazine, you have come in contact, but your background is in the beauty care business. And so we wanted to talk this evening about image. Should, listen to me carefully now, should our self-image or image of self impact on our image, the way we behave, the way we act, what we wear, how we behave? It's a very critical question. And I wanted to start off by making a somewhat controversial statement. When I observe our women in society, and we're talking primarily our younger women, but middle-aged and older women are catching up, there seems to be a preference for hair and styles that are still influenced by how the colonial governments sort of deemed us to be. In other words, we are trying to live up to images that do not reflect our real culture. We are still, for example, wearing hair that in no way, shape, or form resembles our heritage. And there is this hue and cry in our community by women of color and, generally black women, that our culture is being appropriated by whites who put braids in their hair and who wear what is deemed as Afrocentric clothing and so forth. And so the accusation is out there against white women that you're appropriating our culture. But isn't it the other way around? Isn't it the other way around? What is it that almost every woman that pulls up next to me at the stop sign or the traffic light has hair down to their sides of their back that does not quite add up to what they look like? Is that a problem?
The straight hair is not a new phenomenon because people used to use the hot comb to straighten their hair. Mm-hmm. So it's not anything new, but the hypocrisy is that they complain that white women, especially the Kardashian girls, mm-hmm. they braid their hair all the time. And when they do that, we come out and we yell and scream and we carry on about these people are always appropriating our hairstyles. Yet, we have the Indian Remy, we have the Maven Virgin, Malaysian Curl, Brazilian Straight, Peruvian Straight, and it goes on and on. I can't keep up with the different names. So let go of the hypocrisy, ladies. If you don't want people to wear your hair the way they wear it, their hair they wear it, don't take their styles either. Because we've been doing this for as long as I can remember. And before my time, the hot comb was what we used to straighten our hair.
And did we stop using hot comb?
We're still doing it. We're still doing it.
So my question is,
if
Professor.
If you're so black and you want to claim your heritage and you want to claim your culture, don't take other people's.
quite a statement, and I agree 100%. And here we're not tiptoeing around this issue because we're talking about self-love. There is no greater platform, no larger platform exists than the one that exists today, where women are saying, we love ourselves. The proclamation is out there, we love ourselves. Black women are saying it, women of color are saying, we love ourselves. Therefore, this is why we do this, and this is why we do that. But is that a reflection? Is that self-love manifested in the self-image that is being borne by our women today? Do the two add up? Gail, Professor, you want to jump in here?
I have so many things to say. Where to start? I'm going to devil's advocate here. As far as long hair, long weaves, Remy, etc., that we went down the list. Mm-hmm. Very nice list. Thank you. See, you've been in Barbie's a couple times. Barbie's Hair World. If you're unfamiliar, I have a lot of things to say, but I will start with this. As someone who teaches 18, 19, 20, 21-year-olds, the long hair, I tend to think of it in our community as putting on a pair of red shoes on a Tuesday, a fashion statement. So yes, there are a lot of colonial underpinnings. I'm not making light of those. I am saying, though, with people, with young adults, that it doesn't go that deep in their heads. Obviously it does. It's societally, right? We didn't come to this on our own. We as a people did not decide that long, straight hair is something to which we should aspire. That was put upon us by colonialism, right? However, I'm thinking of my students. I'm thinking of young people who for them it doesn't go that deep. It's just, today I'm going to wear my blue skinny jeans with my black tube top and a dark jean jacket and a long weave. I mean, it's just part of the fashion. So in a lot of senses, it's part of the fashion. And joined with that, I think in the last 5 years especially, we as a people, we as women especially, we as a people of color, we have really made inroads to the quote-unquote natural movement. Being natural is something to which we aspire. You look online now, there are whole movements of natural. So that means a lot of things to women of color. Of course, it means natural hair, wearing your hair as it comes out of your head. Now, there are a lot of issues with this. If you walk into work, you work in corporate America, you walk into work and your hair doesn't match everyone else's hair, is there going to be an issue? Are you going to get a call from HR? So there are laws in place that that hopefully make it, I don't want to say okay, but make it illegal to discriminate against someone against something that naturally grows out of their head. And I make that statement because I'm reminded of high school. High school was before the last 5 years when being natural was something to which we as a people aspire. I remember in high school, all of the girls dyeing their hair purple and pink and green. And on Tuesday, your hair was green. And on Friday, your hair was purple. And it was just part of the fashion. And then I can remember the girls who came in with natural hair being chastised and sent to detention. And I think to myself, why was it okay to do something unnatural to your hair, dye it purple, for example, and yet the few girls of color that there even were in school, but the few girls of color who decided to go natural, which is a beautiful thing, which is something to which we as a people should aspire, or we should at least foster as part of self-love. Why would they be punished for what naturally grows out of them? To me, that was always a big issue. And that said, I think that now it's more of fashion. So I make sure that I get my colored gel. I know my nails look horrible right now. I get my colored gel and I, get my brown weave. It's more of a fashion thing. It's a fashion choice. That said, though, I know where it's rooted.
Okay. So I am going to tell you that I did suffer that myself in high school. I might have been about 17 years old at the time. Before my mother straightened my hair, my grandmother used to send me to school with my hair nicely braided. And my mother straightened it, and she said, I will no longer comb your hair. You do it yourself. I'm not putting my hand in that head. At 17 years old, there was this young woman who entered the beauty pageant in Jamaica. And her name was Jean Rary. She had an afro at the time. And it wasn't a big afro. It was as a matter of fact, it was more like a boy's haircut. And I was so impressed by her. I went home that summer, and I had my friend who was learning to become a barber cut my hair, and my grandmother had some very nice adjectives to describe what my head looked like. I went back to school that September with my hair the way I liked it, and I was promptly told to go home and comb my hair. I said, I combed my hair this morning. Another one told me the same thing. Did you comb your hair? Why didn't you comb your hair? I said, if you mean that thing that has these things sticking out of it.
A hot comb.
No, it was a regular comb.
Okay.
I did comb my hair. Well, I wasn't punished. I didn't get a detention for it, but it was talked about. About a month later, another girl came in with her hair like mine, and then another one came in with her hair like mine, all natural. And it became a thing around the school. We just had our hair naturally done.
Trendsetter.
That's what we did. So I understand the straightening of the hair and all of that. But if you are going to complain about it, that somebody is taking your culture, why are you taking theirs? Don't complain. Don't complain about it. You spend hundreds of dollars to have someone sew this thing in your head, and you're happy to flip it and flip it. Don't complain. Just accept it. They took yours, I take theirs.
That's a very good point that you bring up there toward the end about the cost.
Uh-huh.
We as a people are behind everyone else as far as finances. We don't have the inherited wealth. We don't have, mommy and daddy didn't have 2 homes to put in our names and a boat. We have more student debt than other people. Mm-hmm. So we are already behind as far as finances go. And then to just out of your quote unquote disposable income, and I think it goes way beyond your disposable some weeks, this is a big financial.
So does that move you away from playing devil's advocate?
Well, I'm going both ways here. Yeah. It's a big financial burden to and it's not just the initial cost; it's the upkeep.
Oh, you have to go and have it redone, retightened, all of that has to be done.
And so that's money that you could be putting to pay down your student debt. That's money you could be putting toward a new car or a house payment or any other thing.
In the stock market.
Your children. Let's start investing. Let's insure some things. Get a better insurance plan, etc. And something else that I think is overlooked in our community as far as self-love. If you're spending that much time in the salon, what are you not doing with that time? In a perfect world, you're in a salon with Wi-Fi where you can be working on your laptop for...
Doesn't happen.
The 6 hours, the 8 hours that you might be there on a
Salon
Saturday.
is not conducive to that kind.
However, the salon is generally not conducive to that kind of work.
Absolutely.
You're not writing your missive.
You're not.
When you're sitting in the front of the salon, because between the amount of people who are there, the music, the hubbub, the it's festive.
Yeah.
The things that are going on in the salon, the gossip, of course, but just the things. Are you able to get work done while you're there? Are you able to plan whatever it is you need to plan or write whatever
Not
it is you
likely.
need to write? So not only are we spending this money, but we're also taking time out of other things. This could be time that we're spending being productive as far as work, but it's also time you could be spending with your family, with your friends, maybe rediscovering your church or your community or whatever it is that you like to do outside of your, you know, your regular things that you need to do. So
The economics just doesn't work out.
so between the economic investment,
does
it's
not
an
work
investment, and also the time investment,
Which is economics too.
which is time
I
is
remind
money.
you, time is
Absolutely.
money.
Yeah.
All right, so Bernard,
What I find interesting is 5 years ago, you would never see a young woman or young girl walking down the street with teared jeans. And now they sell it in the store torn, and they buy it.
And it's also very expensive too.
and it's called distressed.
Yeah, okay.
It's distressed clothing. It's called.
yeah.
So go figure. Who'd want to associate with distress? But then we say, and as Gail kind of posited before, you know, she's going to play devil's advocate. But at what point? No, and I take that, you know, in the spirit in which it was meant. But at what point do we depart from, you know, just looking on and saying and failing to say, this does not make sense? We're not talking about right or wrong here. We're talking about what is practical, what is common sense. Does this make sense? It takes maybe 30 days or so to create a new habit, right? So yes, it might be harmless. When you're in high school and you did the hair yellow, green, blue, so forth and so on, it's for a moment in time. All right, this was not part of your everyday lifestyle. If you're going for an interview, if you're going to go to college, and you're going for some sort of interview in that particular setting, or going to an interview for a job, or going to meet somebody new, I think you'd sort of make an effort to tone down a little bit. But this is not the case. You have women who absolutely believe it is their right to look like this because this is what they perceive the world to accept. This is the new standard of beauty. And not understanding that this was set in motion hundreds of years ago, that this is what is acceptable. And once we buy into that, and I don't want to use the word condone as if we have power over people, but I'm saying once we buy into that notion, then we're saying let the floodgates open and let our daughters wear whatever they want, look however they want, without representing who they truly, authentically are culturally.
And I'm going to push back just a little bit. I think, like I said before, I think that now there really is a movement toward being natural. So
I see that.
you know, so I don't see it as either or. I see it as the two of them together, hand in hand. So there are girls who make the fashion choice to wear, you know, they maybe haven't studied history, but they make the fashion choice to wear very long hair. And simultaneously, there is a whole group of women, young girls, older women, who embrace being natural. And we see that now more than ever, I think, in our advertising. And that's just not hair; that's size. A particular store, I don't want to name the store because I don't want to give them free advertising, but a particular store on Jamaica Avenue that's a big chain store has an advertising campaign out right now that they have sizes specifically for women 10 to 20, and the women that they show in their advertisements are the women that I see sitting next to me on the train, and the women I see in my classes. They are different sizes, different colors. And so I think we've made these great strides toward being natural and embracing that, not only as a people, as part of our self-love, but also making sure that other people recognize that it's part of our culture and not chastise us or maybe not hire us or whatever it is because we are in our natural state. And like I said before, there are laws now being put into place to make sure that happens. But I think of it as hand in hand. So you can have, and I think as women, we should embrace being able to make a choice. So knowing that it's going to cost a lot of money and knowing that it's going to suck up all of my free time, and knowing the historical context of long hair versus short hair, where that came from, how that became what it is.
Straight hair, nappy hair.
Yes.
Can
Knowing
I-
all those things.
Can I interject, though, as we go along that list?
I make a choice to do that. And then maybe 2 months from now, I make a choice to go natural. But I think we should be encouraging women after they, women to first of all know the colonial underpinnings behind hair, but then encourage women to make their own choice and not chastise them for making the choice if they are well informed.
See, well, I'm not chastising. I'm just saying don't complain about it. Just
Exactly.
don't talk about somebody making their hair the way we used to wear our hair. Don't complain.
Yeah, it kind of leaves me. I wanted to interject, but I didn't get a chance to, so I lost my train
Sorry.
of thought along that particular line. But so let me come back to the psychological impact of all this, right? Isn't this deceptive? You are not alone, right? And I'm not going to, like you guys say, I'm not chastising. I am criticizing. All right, that's what I'm doing. And I'm being critical for the reason that for men, and even though our voices are being muted in a lot of ways these days, I refuse to be muted because I have, I think, certain ideas, not belief systems that are built in stone, but I have certain ideas about us as a people and our development. We're talking about self-love, right? Which means love of self, which would mean first we love God, we love ourselves, we prize ourselves as being special and unique, each individual. So whatever we do, we don't want it to impact, hurt the next person. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you, right? So let's use an analogy. If I chose to have my hair straightened as a male, then people would have questions about what? My identity, correct? I'm still a black man, but am I part Indian? Am I part Mexican? Am I part? What am I? So when a woman puts on this kind of hair, what is the man supposed to determine who is going to be her potential mate, her potential friend? Which identity is he dealing with? Is he dealing with the identity that is convinced that my wearing my hair this way makes me more attractive? So I never get, as a friend or as an intimate friend or as a husband, to see who the woman really is, because she is protected. She's veiled by all this hair that is not hers. So one day I get to see her without all this hair. And what are my feelings going to be? How disappointed am I going to be? Or maybe I might say, oh my God, I never knew you were so beautiful. But it does not obviate the fact that there has been deception going on. I am deceived by how you look. You are not presenting the real you to me. Let me come back with this conversation. I know that I'm allowing hairs to stand on the back of a lot of women's heads right now, and they're going to be coming at me as one of these old males who believe that you shouldn't have the right to wear your hair as long as you want to wear it. But we can have the conversation. I'm open to the conversation. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. This is Love Talk. I'm Clive Williams.
Are you ready to take your content to the next level? The live streaming market is booming, but with so many options out there, it's hard to know where to start. You've heard about doing live video and other video content on platforms like LinkedIn and Facebook, but you're not sure how to make the most of this or how this is going to help you with your business. You're not sure if creating a YouTube channel is going to help you get more customers or it's just a waste of your time. We will walk you through everything you need to succeed in live video with this 4-day immersive virtual bootcamp. We've got all bases covered, from choosing the right platform for your needs, planning an event, recording epic video content and editing it into something awesome, scheduling posts on social media, promoting your videos, and monetizing them effectively. This course is designed for everyone from total beginners who are just getting started in live streaming to those who want to grow their visibility and increase business by creating more valuable content. Leap into live streaming virtual bootcamp.
All right, how you guys doing?
Wait, how'd you get your video like that? Is that 4K or something?
Right, you got us over here looking like a hot mess.
No, it's actually a powerful live streaming app for Mac called Ecamm Live. You know what? Let me show it to you real quick. So you're able to use your mirrorless camera as a virtual webcam, and you can tweak the colors right in Ecamm Live using their camera effects, and then bring this video right into Zoom, Google Meet, and pretty much any other virtual meeting app. You can even stream directly to Facebook, YouTube, or LinkedIn and bring in comments right onto the video. And you can customize the look, size, and position of the comments right in the app. Or you can even add your logo to the corner of your video, or yourself, or both. There are plenty of picture-in-picture styles to choose from if you're sharing your screen for a tutorial or doing a presentation. And it doesn't have to be live. You can use it to record a course and eliminate the need to have to edit it later, all in 4K quality. And if you got a green screen, you can set it up right in Ecamm Live, and you can bring that into your different meetings. If you're feeling fancy, you can move yourself into the corner of your frame to do a commentary or a reaction video. You can even add in video clips just by dragging and dropping it in. Pretty much everything's drag and drop. Y'all follow me? Okay, good. So if you want to step it up a notch, you can add some overlays to your video, whether it's a simple graphic or you want to have some titles or other info at the bottom of your screen. You can even add animated overlays like this one or this one. And with Ecamm Live's interview mode, you have full control over the look and feel of your broadcast. And you can add branded overlays to frame you and your guests and look like a real legit broadcast. And you can save each layout as a scene and switch between them with the press of a button. And you know, these days between virtual meetings, school, live streams, we on video all the time. So you just want to show up in a way where you can be confident and proud of. And for me, Ecamm Live is at the center of it all. Did y'all get all that?
You were on mute.
New York State's largest African American Chamber of Commerce, known as LIAACC, is now accepting new membership candidates. LIAACC has appeared on WABC, Here and Now, NBC's Positively Black, WLIW21, FIOS1, and in Long Island Business News. Membership consists of a variety of men and women of distinction who have been bestowed some of the most prestigious awards in the region. We host monthly membership meetings and signature events, including the Long Island African American Business Expo, Annual Health Fair, Ladies of LIAACC Annual Women's History Month program, and our annual Black History Month art exhibition. Join by simply logging on to our easy new membership sign-up portal at www.liaacc.org.
Hi, my name is Maya Delgado, and I am the brand ambassador of Kids Breakdown. And this is my demo video. Enjoy!
Download app on Google Play or App Store.
Create account. Choose avatar.
Enter Kids Breakdown Roadmap.
Roadmap consists of math, spelling, memorization, and matching mini games.
After each minigame, personality and interest questions will appear to pinpoint which job may suit you best. After completion of all 8 minigames, you will be presented with jobs you may want to learn more about.
Read fun facts about all the different types of jobs within the law, science, and arts career.
Use your gold bricks to make your job environment fully complete.
Go back and play mini games to earn more bricks if needed. I hope you enjoy the Kids Breakdown demo video. Make sure to download today and share with your friends. This platform will pave the way for kids who are just like me, the groundbreakers of tomorrow.
Hi, we're back. You know, if there's one thing this pandemic has licensed us to do, is to do a reset. It's given us a reason to begin to renew, rededicate our lives, our whole planning to a new possibility, a new future. So it's given us reason or license to look at ourselves in the mirror and see who's looking back. And if who's looking back is not what you want to see, then you need to change that image. I'm very big on images, and I'll tell you why. I grew up on an island that has now achieved worldwide acclaim and status because of its athletic prowess, because of its music. So Jamaica has been considered, well, most visitors to the country from either Canada or the United States or from other countries, the first thing they talk about is the weed, right? How good it is. And that used to be a bad thing. Now it's a good thing. Now the weed, or ganja, as we call it back home, is now acceptable. It's now soon to be legal all over the place. In many states it's legal. In New York it's going to be legal soon.
It is.
It is, but you know, the ramifications have not been worked out as to how it's, you know, whether it's going to be dispensaries only or whether they're going to retail the stuff or what have you. But the point I'm making, we are known for reasons of our music and our culture and so forth. And nobody has really examined where our music comes from, where our athleticism comes from, where our culture comes from. If you notice, the vast majority of the actors in this theatrical spectacle that Jamaica puts on in the world, the actors are mostly people of my color, black folks. The few outstanding light-skinned men like Shaggy, mm-hmm. and Bob Marley,
and Sean Paul,
right, and Sean Paul, have reached levels of acceptance that I don't think their talent matches with that. However, they have, and I say that openly, there are people, my color, your color, who are exceptionally talented, who have not been able to break through that barrier. We did in Where It's At an article many years ago, when it was not popular, about the light skin and the privileges it gives you. Why do I mention that? Because in Jamaican society, as in most post-slave societies in the Caribbean, image is everything. The image that people see visually, and 60% of our sense perception is through our eyes. So the images that we see and we approve of and we love are the images that represent lighter skin, long hair, and very often blue eyes. This is another subject I want to come to. So to say glibly, as we often do, well, these young people, they're just acting out their fashion statement, they're making a fashion statement. I think it's way more than that. And until we take this seriously, that this is a profound story or dialogue, if you will, as we are doing now, on our culture, on where we're coming from, what we believe. And if women are wearing a different hair from you're telling me from where, Annette? From Brazil.
Peru and Brazil and
from
India.
From Peru and from India. Isn't this, and on the subject of India, let me just throw this in the pot for further conversation. India is known as the greatest consumer, Indian women, of skin lightening creams. So India is having their own challenges of identity, right? And so we're borrowing from them who have serious identity problems, and we are creating more identity problems for us. So who are you self-identifying as when you wear Brazilian hair, when you wear Indian hair? Who are you self-identifying yourself to be? Who are you? And this is why I talk about deception, and I talk about persona. Who are you? Is this who you want to be? And if we follow the kind of rules of science, in 30 days doing that, you will have developed that as a habit. It's part now of your habit. You cannot get rid of that habit. You now start to flip that hair as if it's yours. So you're now living in an alternate universe, believing that you're somebody who you're not. I have a problem with that. I don't know about you, Bernard.
I believe that more people are existing in life than living life. We talk about spirituality. Your spiritual rewards come from God that you have to work for. You're not just down here to exist. You're here for a purpose. And when you realize what your purposes are, life becomes much easier for you to live. You acquire spiritual rewards. And I think that's a problem today, that people need to understand that you're here for a purpose. So let's change all that and educate ourselves as to the world we are living in. That makes our lives better. Because we'll learn how to get rid of aggravations and frustrations, because we'll know how to reason things out.
So you're saying that if more people were aware that their life should be fulfilling that purpose, they would maybe make better decisions. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, because like I mentioned in previous shows, that spiritual, physical, mental, emotional, and your intuition is a balance that you have to live with, to understand. And once you comprehend that, life becomes easier. Because now you know how to control your feelings and your emotions. It does not control you.
And it's powerful. You have some concepts of beauty. You have suffered as a black woman, living in Jamaica and then living in the United States. You have experienced that kind of challenge with respect to how you look and how you carry yourself. Could you, tell me how that affected you?
This coming to America didn't really bother me as it did back home. Back home, and we're talking about in the 50s and the 60s. I'm an old lady. It was pretty hard.
More the 60s. More. I think you're going back too far, but that's it.
No.
Yeah.
I was born in the 50s, early too. So I'm an old lady, and I know that's what the young folks out there listening are going to say. Oh yeah, she old.
Yeah.
We've passed that. It's a long time ago. But no, it happened then, and it's still happening now. I really didn't have much of a problem here when I came here, because America was a little more evolved than back home. Nobody ever told me I was a pretty little girl. Didn't hear that. I didn't hear that until I was quite grown. Then somebody says, this lady in the store said to me, "You're such a pretty little black girl." And it was specific. It wasn't just that I was a pretty little girl, I was a pretty little black girl.
Black girl.
That's what I was told.
Is that by a person of color who told you that?
A person of color that looked like me. Yeah. So if I didn't have the grandmother that I had who raised me, because my mom was here working hard to make life for us, if I didn't have her to boast to me and to tell me exactly who I was and am, I'd probably be in a corner somewhere right now, shivering or covering my head or something. I wouldn't be the person that I am. But I had somebody who told me who I was. And if you don't have somebody telling you, that person telling you who you are and who you can become, you're going to fail.
What did you go through, when you decided to wear your hair the way you do? or your head the way you do?
As I told you, in school, I was told to go home and comb my hair. The
But
teachers.
no, it's much. There's no hair to comb.
There
now.
was more.
So
there
when
was,
you made that transition,
my hair was higher than yours. It was higher than because
Like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air type hair.
it wasn't quite as high.
Okay.
It was in between, and I was told to go home and comb my hair, and that I almost got detention for it because I told the teacher, if you're talking about this apparatus that we use with these things called teeth and pull it through the hair, then I did comb my hair. And that almost got me detention, but I didn't. And as I told you earlier on, after a couple of weeks, maybe a month, Gail joined me, and then Janice joined me, and then another one, and then another one, and we started a movement in the school. But for the first couple of days or weeks, I had to go through it with my teachers.
and personally, did that make you feel less, or how did that challenge you?
No, it didn't, because as I told you, my grandmother told me who I was.
Yeah.
So it didn't bother me one bit. I don't know about other people, but for me, it did not bother me one bit.
Well, you know, my mother took pains to brush my hair in the mornings. At age 11, 12, my mother was still brushing. I was quite capable of combing my hair, but my mom brushed my hair. She made sure, and this is really powerful now, she made sure that she would squeeze the bridge of my nose. Okay? This is profound. All in an effort to make sure that I, in some way, because I am a young black boy, to make sure that I conformed to what my teachers, who were pretty much 70, 80% white expatriate people, that we call them in Jamaica, white folks from England and from elsewhere.
The teachers who were telling me to go home and comb my hair looked like me.
Yeah, yeah.
They all looked like me.
Yeah. And as a young, I went to a boys' school, right? And so I had to meet that requirement of looking not in any way threatening. So talk about, if your hair is all scraggly and not combed properly, and you look kind of scruffy, add that to being black, and you were just not going to participate in the educational process that was set up at that time. And you know, as a child, it is, you know that you're aware that there's some trauma. The impact, though, doesn't happen until you are in your 20s and your 30s, that you look back and you see how you were treated by a society that claimed to be a black society, that was out of slavery, a post-colonial society. And a lot of people will pass it off and say, oh no, back in the Caribbean, no, what we had was class prejudice, not color. That's a bold-faced lie. We had as much prejudice, racial prejudice, as we experience here in the United States. As a matter of fact, I'm going to say something that's really counterintuitive now, and that is, I have not experienced the level of racial animus here, because I'm an older guy, I guess. My hair is graying, and so I get more respect and so forth. But the racial animus I experienced in my country was profound.
When you say racial animus, what do you mean? Just like a prejudice against your color?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, Annette told you her experience at school. I'll tell you my experience in my professional life. I was the owner of a business, very large business. And a black woman came. She had a complaint. And my wife said to her, you need to talk to the boss. And she says, yes, bring the boss. So my wife came and called me and says, this is the boss. The woman stepped back from me about 10 paces back. And she said, "Who is the boss? This one is the boss? This little black one? That's not the boss. I want the boss." My wife said, "Ma'am, this is the owner." And that woman savaged me verbally because I was black and I did not look the part. And the expressions she used, I cannot repeat on air, and it would not make sense because you would not understand it. But as a young black man, that's what I experienced in my own country. So this is the kind of job they've done on us. So yes, am I ramped up? Am I worked up about the fact that the women that I respect, want to adore, want to love as women of color are, just appropriating images that are not ours. It bothers me because I see what that can do to a society. I see how it has, divided a society. So this is my story, and this is my concern.
I remember I had a Mexican friend, and he came. I was in my country, and he came to New Orleans to pick up one car, and he had two for the price of one. So he called me. I jumped on a plane, came to New Orleans, started driving, and we were going through Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and the police pulled us over, and asked us where we were going, and we explained that to him, and it was kind of late, so right across the street was a hotel, and so my friend went into the hotel and make reservation, and when I walk in, the guy said, "What do you want?" I said, "I'm with him." He said, "You can't sleep here." Okay, that was my first time.
Yeah.
But to me, it was no big deal. But the point I'm making is, across the border in Mexico, one evening, we stopped to gas the car, and the school was over there, and school let out. And I saw all these kids charging over. And they come over and trying to rub my skin. Was the first black person they saw. So look, so you see the difference? So it's all experience that we go to good one, bad one, indifference one, but it's how we look at it.
Now, we don't have time to explore how you process that particular experience, but it's something that we can talk about some more as to, Professor Gail, I think you better jump in here because, my experience has been psychologically that if someone begins to act out an image in a way that's not authentic to them, then it becomes part of their personality, part of their persona. They believe who they think they are, really, and it creates a problem in terms of communication. Now we have to start treating people as to who they perceive themselves to be, not who they really are. Isn't that a problem?
There is. There's who we are, who we think we are, who others see. You're laughing, who others see us as, and then who we ultimately want other people to see us as, right? So there's who we authentically are, and then there's who other people think we are, and then there's the Holy Grail, which is who I want you to think I am, and then that third part kind of informs everything else. Because if I want you to think that I am successful, I might go out and buy that really big Mercedes. I don't even know the number, but you know the one, the big one.
Yeah, 550.
There you go. The biggest one.
Yeah.
So even though I'm, living in my mama's basement or, have 3 jobs cobbled together to try and pay the insurance on that car, because that's who I want people to perceive me as, whatever that car symbolizes. So successful, wealthy, able, has it all together. All of those things that you might see when you see that Mercedes badge on a very large car. So in that quest for who we want people to think we are, we do a lot of things. So we might dress a certain way. We might dress above our means. You're laughing. The girls, I know the girls, you know the girls on the train who have the real Louis Vuitton bags, and then the girls who have the ones they bought on Canal Street. Please don't tweet at me. But if I'm buying that, $3,000 Louis Vuitton bag on Canal Street, and please don't tweet at me because I've done it too, for $20 out of, girl, ladies, you got to like walk behind the store and then you got to go down some stairs and then it's dark and you got to pull out your cell phone and put on the light so you can see, so you're buying that fake bag back there. But if you're buying that fake bag, and I have to, so don't tweet at me. So if you're buying that fake bag, why are you buying that fake bag that looks like that $3,000 bag? And you're holding it, and you know how you talked about, your hair? You're doing the same thing with the bag. You got it in the front, and then you got it in the back. You're doing the same thing because you want other people to think that you can either A, afford that $3,000 bag, or B, someone, quote unquote, loves you enough to give you that $3,000 bag. But it's all part of that, who you want other people to see you as, until the little edges start to fray off like a week and a half after you started carrying it.
Absolutely.
Because they do. So don't spend your $20 there, ladies. Put it into an IRA. So there is that, right? I just want to go back, because I know we only have a few minutes left, to something you'd said before about when you wake up the next morning and she's just like the person with no hair, or the person with not the hair she went to bed with. There is that, but there's also, I've taken off my girdle so I don't look the same way I did when I went to bed. Or I've taken off, and you girls know who shop in Jamaica Avenue, the Brazilian butt lift girdles with the really nice butt. I've taken off my Brazilian butt lift girdle, and all of a sudden you're like, what? Where did your backside go? Or I've taken off my really nice padded Victoria's Secrets bra, and all of a sudden I'm flat like a pancake. So there's a lot of things going on there in quote unquote deception. So it's not just the hair, but the hair is that big issue because it's got those roots in colonialism and its roots in love. Can we love ourselves the way we are, the way we naturally are? And if we can, then I say, if you grow up with someone like your grandma who taught you that you were a strong Black woman, regardless of whether you used a hot comb or not, if we grow up with that in our own homes, then I think when you go out and you choose a weave, it's that fashion sense, because you are fine with who you are naturally. And I think that that's what we should be teaching our girls. And all of this other stuff around it, I think it really just starts, like you said, with your mom, and you said with your grandma. It really just starts in home, fostering the love of self for who you are. And then once you walk outside of that door, if you want to spend all your time and money on a weave, you know that you're beautiful just the way God made you. But maybe that week you want to wear a weave because you have an extra $300.
Yeah.
I'm not doing this because I didn't. I did. I wore wigs. I wore weaves. But I didn't chastise anybody for wearing their hair the way they wanted to. Just the hypocrisy of it that bothers me.
Right. The Kardashians the Bo Dereks and
I don't care.
So to emphasize your point, you're saying that Black women ought to stop with the nonsense of yelling cultural appropriation to other people when they themselves are appropriating.
That's right. That's all. That's my take on it. Don't complain.
And I think also, to go back to what Bernard said about just knowing that there's a purpose for you in life, if we foster that in our kids along with self-love, we'd just be way ahead of the issue when we walk out the door.
So that's the narrative that we need to be, as you said, foster in our homes. Bernard, I've been using that, I call it a schematic, a kind of narrative as to how on a daily basis, it's in subject form, people ought to live.
Yes.
And I've been working with my grandson on that, and I'm hoping for good results. And I just want to, folks, look, tell us how you feel on Instagram, right? Follow us on Instagram at Our World Media. Our World Media. Follow us on Instagram and make your comments there. Let's know what you're thinking about what we're doing here on this network. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Our World Media 1. Our World Media 1. I want to thank you for your attention, for your just participation in watching us. Please call a friend, share. We'll be on the air again next Saturday from 6 to 7. And hopefully we keep our promise and you keep your promise to be with us. We thank you so very much as we attempt as we attempt to reconstruct Black love, life, and relationships. Thank you very much. This is Love Talk. I'm Clive Williams. I wish you well. Bye-bye.